about now? How about now? No? Yes?
It takes a few seconds. Well, turn these.
How about now? Can't hear me? All right. You can? Okay. So here we are. Let's see what's happening here. Who's jumping in? We're out here on the rocks today. Beautiful. This gorgeous day here in Kauai. The trade winds picked back up again. And really appreciate you being here. Another beautiful day in paradise. We had a stick so we could be further away, but it's not working out so great. So what you came down here to have...
I can't hear you with this.
Okay. Try it out. Doesn't work, you try something else.
MTV Brazil.
MTV Brazil, aloha, Brazil. I know you guys speak Portuguese down there, but I don't know any Portuguese. Beautiful country. So, who do we got coming on, baby? Today's part 2 of a 5-part series on the Master Key Success.
Portugal.
Luca from Portugal. So we got Brazil, which speaks Portuguese, and we got Portugal. So cool how everybody's connected here. So we'll can't get this way for you. So what's this really all about? Well, yesterday we talked about the Napoleon Hill study, which was 25 years of studying success in other people. Actually here in beautiful Kauai, down in Poipu, which is really nice. We'll swing around this way. There's my beautiful wife, the fabulous Davine. And that's sort of what we're looking at here. It's really surrounded by rocks and the ocean. And what we want to do is give you a success formula. It's not mine. Really interesting thing. Yesterday we talked about the 25-year study of Napoleon Hill. If you didn't see yesterday's, you can catch it on my Facebook page, Mark Januszewski. It's up there. And it talks about basically, quick review, Hill studied the 504 most successful people for 25 years. And what he found out was quite remarkable. What's going on, honey? We good?
You're good.
Okay. What he found out was really quite remarkable, not what he expected to find out. Why do people succeed unilaterally in their life? Well, we have the headline here, the 3 M's, and that's mind, mechanism, and method. Now the methods are the skills, and we're going to talk about some direct sales skills and network marketing skills next month. But basically the mechanism is whatever your vehicle is. Your vehicle, of course, is your network marketing company, or your beauty shop, or your butcher shop, or your cosmetic business, or your job that you just want to take a leadership role and do better at and get promoted and make more money. So the 3rd M is method, or skills. The 2nd M in the 3 M's is, of course, the mechanism. That's what you're using to generate income. And the 1st M, which is the most important thing, it all starts there, is the mind. We talked about this yesterday. The device you're looking at right now was first a thought. The chair you're sitting in, the clothes that you have on, the house that you live in, the settlement that that house is in. They were all first what? A thought. So everything begins with thought. And this is what Hill discovered in the 25-year study, is that successful people had persistence. And yesterday we redefined persistence based on reality, not on some, wonderful don't quit type of thing. Fundamentally, persistence is actually not a characteristic. Hey, David Whited, thanks for checking in, man. Loved watching your kids fly this morning. That was awesome. David and Stacy, very successful networkers. Follow them on Twitter, follow them on Periscope. They're putting out great stuff every day. But basically, the 4 habits that comprise the bigger habit. Remember, persistence is not a trait, it's not a character defect if you don't have it, or a character asset if you do. It's a habit. It's really the byproduct of 4 tiny habits, and the first one is a definite major purpose backed by a burning desire. I mean, you've got to want it in every fiber of your being, okay? And it's got to be bigger than what you're currently thinking. If you're thinking about getting out of debt, getting a new car, hitting a pin level, that's way too small. What you're doing is competing in the same arena that you always have. Don't compete, create. What do you want to create? The method to attain your purpose for being on the planet. How are you going to serve other people? So you can catch that one at Mark Januszewski. That's my Facebook page. We went over that yesterday. The second one was a positive mental attitude. The third one, of course, is a written plan expressed in continuous action. Okay? Let's face it, Edison said it better than anybody else. A vision, which is your purpose, without execution is hallucination. That pretty much says it all. And the fourth was a mastermind alliance. So tomorrow we'll go over a plan of action, how to create an effective plan of action for yourself. It's pretty simple. And then the last one, of course, is a mastermind. Then we'll wrap it up in part 5. So we're on part 2 today, a positive mental attitude. And I know a lot of people think I'm a little harsh about the bumper sticker stuff and the sayings, you know, it's not your aptitude, it's your attitude that determines your altitude, and don't quit, winners never quit, quitters never win. You know, how much of a difference have they made in your life? The truth is, they don't really make a difference in your life if you want to look at the evidence, and that's really what this is about, is the evidence. So you have to have an authentic, positive mental attitude. Now, yesterday I promised I'd share with you actually scientific information about the mind and why we're all so negative. And we challenged the people that hopped on here yesterday. By the way, if you're getting the answers from Janice13, that's actually my wife, the fabulous Davine, out in the sun, and I can't really see what's coming up here, but she does. She's the brains behind the deal. So here's the skidding. It's actually called carrots and sticks, and it's not a story. This is something that scientists have been using, behavioral psychologists, behavioral sociologists, and sociologists for years, and now it's been substantiated by the scientific community. There's absolutely no question about it. This idea is reduced down for people like me and you to understand. It's called carrots and sticks. The human mind is an amazing thing. And what's really sad is most people know more about the cell phone than they do about their mind. Quick quiz for you. Left brain learner, right brain learner. That's a thing that a lot of people think is true, and all over the internet you'll see, are you a left brain learner or right brain learner? Fink's study clearly shows that that's a total fallacy. Okay, until the ideas cross from the left to the right or the right to the left, depending on your receptors, you don't have anything. So you have to engage both parts of the brain. And that's really what this is about, our brain. Again, the most marvelous mechanism on the planet, yet most of us know more about our remote control in our car than we do about our brain. Now, here's the problem with human beings. Human beings have evolved in terms of, you know, houses and bathrooms and running water and all that, but our mind is still stuck around 1000 BC. What does that mean? That's carrots and sticks. And again, the scientific studies, they're on my website. The scientific studies about this are not in debate. Here's what happened. Let's say David Whited, David, he wouldn't be called Whited then, he'd probably just be called and I'd be But anyway, let's say David and Stacy, myself and Davine and Tom and Lori, we lived in a cave. So David, Tom, and myself, we go out to get carrots. And what carrots symbolizes, of course, there is food, substance for us to live. And the girls, of course, are back there doing what they got to do to prepare the food, to keep the cave in order and all that. That's the way it was. So what we have is genetic predisposition towards carrots and sticks, because our mind hasn't evolved as much as civilization in general has evolved in terms of convenience. Let me give you an example. So Tom, myself, and David go out to get food, and what we want to do is avoid sticks. Sticks with psychologists and sociologists are things that will kill you. And as it turns out, in the subconscious mind, the most powerful thing in the subconscious mind is survival. Your body will actually alter things internally if you're having a problem with an organ or anything else to try to survive. It does it intuitively. So we want to avoid sticks, and if we go out and David, myself, and Tommy don't get any carrots, well, that's okay. We go to bed hungry. At least we didn't die. So you come from 150,000 years. That's about how long man's been on the planet. About 150,000 years, and you're here because everybody in your lineage was really good at avoiding sticks and finding carrots. You understand? This is why it's known in psychological circles as a negativity bias. Simple example to bring it into today. Remember the last time you went for a job review, usually on job reviews there's 10 or 20 things that they'll grade you out on. Appearance and punctuality and so forth. The guy tells you, or the gal tells you, breaking you down, she tells you what? She tells you you did 19 of the 20 things awesome, and this one thing needs a little area of improvement. What are you going to think about all day long? You're going to think about that one thing. Why didn't they like that? What did I do wrong? You know, that's the way it is. This is known as a negativity bias, and negative thoughts stick to us like Velcro because of 150,000 years. 150,000 years of a genealogy and genetics in you to avoid sticks, okay? It's really that simple. So we have what's known as a negativity bias, and yesterday we challenged everybody to not give an opinion for 3 days. So if you weren't here yesterday the first time, don't give an opinion for 3 days. Not with your mouth, not about what a quarterback should have done in a football game, not the way the construction site is set up, not the hours that banks should keep, not anything about Donald Trump, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton. No opinions about anything. It usually takes a day and catch yourself and have a sense of humor about this, okay? Because we're funniest when we take ourselves most seriously. But why? Okay, so anytime you express an opinion verbally, okay, you got to stop and start again to get 3 consecutive days without an opinion. But here's what's going to happen. About a day or so into it, you'll be able to restrain yourself verbally, but they'll still be going on in your head. All opinions are negative ideas about somebody else. Unless you are the world-class, preeminent expert and somebody asks you in your field of expertise, no opinions, and you'll start to notice that you are judging things. All opinions are judgment, okay? And as long as we're in judgment, we're negative. That's just the way it is. What we're really trying to do is reconfirm our identity, and all of us off the record will tell people we're not happy where we are in our identity. So, is there a solution to this? Well, yeah, first of all, awareness is the beginning of change. So to develop a real positive mental attitude, what you have to do is really start to identify, right? You've got to identify the fact that you are negative, accept it, and love the fact that you're negative, and so are your parents, and so are their parents and grandparents and grandparents. It's why you made it this far. But what you really want to do is go a little bit further, okay? And that is embrace the idea that you don't have to evolve your brain to a positivity bias by waiting for man's, and this is actually a quote from the psychology fields, that man's brain evolves like a glacier. A woman's brain evolves like a glacier. You want to accelerate that process. How do we do it? Well, to have a positive mental attitude, the second of the 4 tiny habits, an authentic positive mental attitude is awareness is the beginning of change. So become aware, okay, of how negative you are. Every opinion is really a negative statement. Because even though you might feel strongly about it, you are judging somebody else and you are saying other people are doing it wrong. That's negative, okay? The second thing you need to do is go on a 7-day mental diet. So the opinion thing will warm you up. 7-day mental diet. Whoa, the trade winds are back. It's really cool. Because if you do, you'll become fully cognizant of the negativity bias that you have, and you're going to use a tool that I'm going to give you right now. Again, the human being knows more about their cell phone than they do about their mind. Your mind runs on 7 laws, and I'm going to give you 2 of them today. One of them is the law of growth, which a lot of marketers have sort of twisted up quite a bit and talked about the law of attraction. The law of attraction, you know, it's not a question of turning it on or turning it off. So don't ever buy a course or anything about turning on the law of attraction. That's sheer lunacy. And we see this a lot because people have actually twisted Hill's research, Stone's research, Hanel's research. They've twisted it into this idea that whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve, like that's some new thing. Your entire life is a result of thoughts that you've conceived, believed, and you've automatically manifested them. Because the granddaddy of the 7 laws of the mind is the law of growth, which is really the law of attraction. In other words, what you think about grows. Buddha said the same thing. The master teacher said, according to your faith, be it unto you. I mean, this has been said over and over and over again by the illuminated ones. So when you start to get a negative thought, what you want to do is use the law of substitution. That's the second, and that's your best friend right now to develop a positive mental attitude. What's the law of substitution? It's not possible for me, you, or anybody else on the planet to hold 2 thoughts simultaneously. You can only hold 1 thought at a time. So as soon as the idea of an opinion comes to you, as soon as a negative thought comes to you, instantly substitute, that's the law of substitution, a different thought for it. Now, some people that have a great ongoing relationship with a power greater than themselves, or God, or Jesus, or whatever, you know, universal mind, the creator, it doesn't really matter. I don't like a specific name because I think it limits that power. And if that's too big a reach for you, then do what I did. You know, when I first started this, I used to think about my wife. Her favorite place on this island is Polahali, and when we came over here in 2005 and visited, my wife is the world record holder for sand in a bathing suit. And she got rolled over in some waves, and I was a little concerned about her, and then all of a sudden she popped up and she was laughing, and her drawers had more sand. It's a 17-mile beach. I think she had picked up 11 miles of the sand. It was, and she turned around and she said, "Look at this." It was unbelievable. So basically, you want to substitute something in an imagined experience or a good memory that you rekindle, and you get the smell and you get the sound and you get the touch to it and everything. I can close my eyes and I can be there, and I can substitute that in. So you want to substitute a good memory, something that made you feel wonderful, a priceless moment, and it doesn't have to be the biggest thing in the world. All it has to be is a different thought. This is how you develop an authentic, positive mental attitude, because as you go through this, what will happen is you'll go, holy crap, I really am negative. If you swear, if you go, damn it, you know, if you say, you know, I used to stand in line at Starbucks, and it used to piss me off when, you know, the woman would, in front of me, would get to the counter and the girl would say, "How can I help you?" And she'd look at the menu like she'd never seen it before, like it was in Greek, like it's, come on, I want my coffee, you should know what you want. And then, when she asked her to pay, it was like a surprise, and now she had to dig through her purse. And so I started to think about my wife there, and sometimes I think about God. It really doesn't matter. You have to substitute a different thought in and notice this negativity that you have. You go through this for 7 days, and you can get it at masterkeymarkj.com. As soon as you get there, you'll see the 7-day mental diet. 3 days without an opinion, 7 days, 7 consecutive days without a negative thought. You will never be the same person. You'll have an authentic, positive mental attitude. And here's the really best part, okay? You'll understand why I say all that bumper sticker stuff just doesn't work. With all due respect to the Les Browns, the Tony Robbins and all that, they're all great speakers. They got wonderful things to say, but it doesn't change anything for anybody. They're thoughts, okay, that are sticking on top of this 150,000-year lineage of negativity that got you here today. So celebrate that negativity bias. It's not a bad thing. celebrate it and make a decision that I want to evolve faster than mankind in general is evolving, because I'm going to take control over my thoughts. So where does all this lead? Well, you have to understand who you really are, that you're golden inside, that you're an amazing, incredible entity, but it's been conditioned out of you. To tell you a little story to wrap this up, so that you can sort of get in touch with how magnificent you are, and it's called the Legend of the Golden Buddha, and it's actually true. A little bit of it's been shifted around, but it's a beautiful metaphor for innateism. And this is how it works. Many years ago in Thailand, I think in the 15 or 1600s, they heard that Burma was going to invade, and the only thing that this little village had was this larger-than-life, in 8 pieces, solid gold Buddha. And so they said they'll plunder that, so we've got to do something. So they came up with this great idea to cover it in cement and sticks and rocks and all that. And they did. And sure enough, the Burmese armies rolled in, and they looked at this cement Buddha and said, what do we want to take that for? And of course, they occupied it for many decades. Eventually, they left. Now, one day, a young monk was out praying by the Buddha, and a little piece of the cement chipped off. And he saw something shiny, so he looked at it and he said, oh, I think that's gold. And he chipped a little more off, and he said, it is gold. And he ran back to the monastery. He said, the Buddha's golden, the Buddha's golden. And so they all ran out, and they chipped it away, and sure enough, there was a golden Buddha. They had forgotten, it had been so long, they had forgotten that it was golden underneath. What's the metaphor? Well, it's really pretty simple, isn't it? You were born golden, and David Whited knows this, Stacy knows this. I had a conversation with them the other day. I'm still high on it. What a marvelous couple they are, bringing peace and prosperity into people's lives, because they know, and they can teach you how to exhume that golden Buddha. But here's the metaphor. We're all born golden. We're born connected to all truth, all knowing, all wisdom, everything Jesus knew, everything Buddha knew, everything everybody knew. And I'm going to prove this to you in a couple of minutes. But fundamentally, we're born golden. But by the time we're 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, what actually starts to happen is we start to get conditioned. This is what little boys do, this is what little girls do, this is what Asian kids do, this is what black kids do, this is what white kids do. And we start to believe that we're our conditioning, and we start to learn approval seeking of our peers and approval of the teachers. And this is not a good thing. Our imagination, you know, you've been to schools today, in these days, what are they producing? Little consumers. And basically, what they're saying is you can be anything you want to be, but you better follow the rules and behave just like everybody else. So what happens is this cement or this conditioning gets built around us, and we start to believe we're the cement Buddha. And then something happens. If you're lucky, a loss of job, you lose your income, a divorce, an injury, and you have that little moment of awareness. And when you do, that moment of honesty, and Thoreau talked about most people live lives of quiet desperation. This is actually known as the hero's journey, where you get heralded somehow to leave the conditioned life, you know, of what makes a responsible adult and what's right and all that kind of nonsense. And you begin the journey of rediscovering or resurrecting, if you will, the golden child that you are, that's connected to all truth. And I'm going to prove that this is true to you, because if you can just get through the negativity with the no opinion thing for 3 days and the 7-day mental diet again, Master Key Mark J, it'll pop right up for you, grab that thing. But basically, if you can get through that, it's not a jump to an eternal positive mental attitude. So I'm going to say 2 words again, 2 words here that are important, and they're called born again. No, this isn't a religious thing. It turns out that being born again had been written about for 2,000 years regularly in all cultures before the master teacher came along. Which had a little different meaning to it, but the idea of being born again is resurrecting this golden spirit in you. This is known as innateism, that you're connected to all truth, all wisdom, and all knowing. So let me give you the proof that I promised. Here's the deal. okay? Really important. Scientifically true. And you'll find in our course, the Master Key course, which is given away to people, it's all scholarships. We'll go over this in a lot more detail. But here's the deal, when you're born, scientifically proven, no debate about it, you only have two fears: loud noises and falling. What does that mean? It means that every fear that you have about your income, about making it in network marketing, or making it in your beauty shop, or making your marriage work, fear government security, they're all what? Learn. That's all the freaking cement. What's the matter?
All the wind and it's the wind.
It's the wind. How's that? Better? Yeah? So we'll try it this way because this is important. Every fear you have, you learn. That's the cement. Those are people who meant well and taught you fear. You know, don't drink that stuff, Johnny, underneath the sink, you'll die. Don't walk down a dark alley, somebody might stab you. You're an adult. You know what is not a safe thing to be in, and you don't have to have any fear about it. And of course, people with hidden agendas. The government, the school system that's now more interested in producing consumers than thinkers. You know, of course, the worst tyrant of all are the advertisers. And what do they try to do? They try to make you feel less than unless you buy these jeans, buy this cologne, buy this car. You know, if you're a woman today, you're really screwed, because what do they want you to do? Well, they want you to have kids. If you don't have kids, there's something wrong with you. If you do have kids and you're raising your kids, there's something wrong with you because you don't have a career. And of course, you have to be anorexic too. Tell those pikers on Madison Avenue to take a hike and just love yourself the way you are. The other school of thought over in ageism is actually called tabula rasa, which means we're born as a blank slate, and these things get added unto us. I'm submitting to you that it's actually both. You're connected to all wisdom, you're golden inside, you're made first class by first class, and so getting a real positive mental attitude, which is part 2 of this 5-part series, is understanding the negativity bias, the carrots and sticks thing, using the no opinion and the 7-day mental diet to become aware of it, and resurrecting this golden, dynamic, brilliant, dazzling, unique, gifted creature that you were intended to be. All right, peace be the journey. We'll see you on the beaches of the world. Peace out.